What exactly is race? According to Wikipedia, race is a categorization of humans based on shared physical or social qualities into groups, generally viewed as distinct within a given society. But to the average individual, race is the color of your skin, an overly simplistic idea many people carry. In this video, I'm going to talk about the biological and sociological aspect of race, melding together social sciences, history, and biology to establish its meaning. If you were to ask someone random what race is, chances are they're going to give you a very simple answer. Of course, it's unreasonable to expect them to give the most accurate description like how Wikipedia defines it, but they fail to capture the nuances of the term. In this video, I went out of my way to test this on Roblox, since I didn't want to actually have to talk to people. Black race is black. Now, if they were referencing black people or commenting on the topic of race and its dark history, I will never know. However, we can work off this. People are often ignorant of racial matters. After all, if you were born lucky enough to live not having to be dehumanized because of your race even once, you don't have to think about such things. It also doesn't help that curriculums don't actually teach us about it, which is weird since this country was built off it. But I digress. Race is a social construct, a system of categorization created and maintained by societies too. Organize people into groups based on perceived physical differences. This includes things such as skin color, hair texture, and facial features. These categories have no inherent biological basis, but have profound social, cultural, political, and economic implications. Unfortunately, despite trying with their cute little brain and all their might to define race, SAE, being Soleil, was completely wrong. SAE, more like racist. Race isn't real biology. It's not a valid biological category. On a genetic level, race doesn't determine who we are. It's not written into our DNA. From a biological standpoint, race is essentially meaningless. Humans are 99.9% genetically identical, and the tiny differences between us are more likely to be found within groups than between them. For example, the people from different racial categories might be more genetically similar than two people from the same group. The biological traits races carry, rather than being markers of race, are ancestry-based adaptations. For example, Arctic populations like the Inuit have shorter limbs and higher metabolic rates for better heat retention in cold climates. Skin color evolved based on UV exposure. Darker skin protects against intense sunlight near the equator, while lighter skin allows better vitamin D absorption in low UV regions. Narrow noses, common in colder climates, help warm and humidify air before it reaches the lungs, while wider noses, found in warmer, humid regions, allow for easier airflow. Eye shapes, such as the epicanthic fold seen in many East Asian populations, may have evolved to protect against cold winds and bright sunlight. In terms of hair texture, tightly coiled hair in warmer climates help dissipate heat, while straighter hair in colder regions provides better insulation. Muscle retention also differs. People in colder climates often have higher muscle mass and fat storage to maintain body heat, while those in warmer climates may have leaner builds for heat dissipation. Now, Neri, doesn't this mean you screwed yourself over by picking this topic? And to that I say, yes, I did. However, I can still talk about physical trends present in races or geographical populations. And, in a way, I'm talking about the history of biology regarding race. Why and how did the idea of race manifest? If race isn't biological, where does it come from? Well, to put it bluntly, it was made by white people as a tool for social differentiation in order to empower white supremacy, which was then used to justify things like slavery, colonization, and exploitation. By grouping people based on traits like skin color, colonizers created hierarchies that placed Europeans at the top and dehumanized others in order to rationalize oppression. So, if you were wondering why for real the topic of race isn't taught in schools, that's probably why. Now, does this mean we should stop talking about race as a whole? No, talk about race. Never stop talking about race until racism isn't a thing anymore. Racism isn't just a fart in the room that should be ignored. Race might not be a real thing biologically, but it's real sociologically. Racial discrimination and the systemic inequalities that manifest from such exist because society has made race matter. It's so indented in society that it influences people's experiences and opportunities due to the natural disadvantages it brings. Don't be one of those people that claim not to see color. That's only valid for colorblind people. Pretending race doesn't exist on a social level has the same effects as pretending racism doesn't. It ignores the unfair reality many people face, thus perpetuating their issues. Now, you might be asking, why are you even talking about this? This is a biology project. And to that I say, yes, I'm sorry, I'll get back on topic. But also, the topic of discrimination transitions into healthcare and biological research. As said before, racism brings forth issue for individuals, socially, economically, politically, and in terms of health, it can contribute to chronic stress and a whole array of health and mental issues, leading to higher rates of conditions such as heart disease and hypertension. To add, non-European populations are underrepresented in research and studies, leaving treatments less effective for them. This misconception of race causes major problems in biological research, with studies often using race as a biological category. This leads to oversimplified conclusions, since as mentioned before, race isn't inherently biological. It only refers to trending physical manifestations of ancestry-based adaptations. There have also been events in history that bred mistrust between marginalized groups and scientists due to exploitation, such as the Tuskegee syphilis study. Because of the nature of biology, researchers have a tendency to disregard how sociological factors impact health, only looking at genetics. So what is race, after sitting here writing and researching for hours on, and while stressing about all the other stuff I have to do? With cat videos on TikTok being my only solace, I can reiterate its meaning. A social constructed system humans created that has shaped our history and continues to impact our present. It's important to separate what's scientifically true from what's socially constructed so we can challenge the inequalities that exist today. Well, that's what ChatGPT is saying.